It was great to find this video, but in it that he's explaining something which should be explained much more to us and properly, when I look at him, I just don't think they're standing next to each other. And he's got a jagged board he's looking at. Do you see? You see his perspective? I don't know. I don't think that looks right. He's a different colour to the other person. But when you hear what they say, why aren't they talking more about this? This was 2019, in a life we once used to have, you know, before lockdown. A different life then. But listen to what he explains. And one of the worst culprits is Facebook. But I just don't think these people are together. He's got like a black line round his, like there's a line round there, and I just don't think they're in the same perspective. And that's why there's a nice little sign over him for any problems. Look at that, the jagged board. See? And look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Look at the difference in his eyes. Do you see what I mean? So what, they're all superimposed? Why can't they just be real people? But anyway, listen to the message, because something like this is happening. It really, really is.
Welcome back to Euronews Tonight, and over to theCUBE, our social media news desk, and where better to be for a story about social media manipulation. It's a report by the Oxford Internet Institute, and its headline finding is pretty shocking. Look at this. They're saying here, organised social media misinformation campaigns now present in 70 countries around the world. Comparing that to 2017, they're saying that is more than double. The number then was 28.
When he's talking about this bit, this is what's happening to all of us. It's not just these people doing it. The other ones are doing it. The whole lot are doing it to us. This is happening to us all the time. Things are suppressed, discredited, thrown out, thrown in. This is happening to us all the time. They're doing this to us. They are doing it to us, not just these ones. These are obviously special ones then, because they're on here and they're highlighted. So they're obviously doing their job good. But it's happening to all of us, which he will explain in a bit.
I pull up the regimes which you might expect, regimes that have been accused of being authoritarian or categorised as such by the researchers here at Oxford University.
Oh yes, and Oxford University are the people that have deemed that all these people are the baddies, and we're the goodies really. But this is their experiment, so these from Oxford University.
Got some of the key ones there, Iran, Sudan, but look at this, Russia there too, China here just next to Cambodia. China particularly interesting because previously this report saying much of their efforts were focused domestically, but after the Hong Kong protests, a lot of this attention turning outwards in an attempt to portray the demonstrators there as violent thugs as opposed to reformist campaigners. Now when we're talking about the tools used, 3 techniques that these authoritarian regimes are using. One is to suppress, that is to try and limit your opponent's point of view. The other one there, to discredit it, that is to share information that in some way makes facts or your opponents look incorrect and wrong in the case of your opponents. And on the bottom there, to drown out, that is simply by flooding a particular platform with information so people cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is fake. Those are 3 tools in the armory there, but lots to unpick here because 45 democracies are also listed.
This isn't actually his comment, but look what it says in the background. 45 democracies, including the US, UK and most of the Western world political groups using digital tools to amass fake followers and spread falsehoods in hope of getting elected. But it's not just that, it's in everything. These people are doing it in everything. Everything we look at, everything we see, they are controlling everything. And I just think the media are in control of it all. And at the same time, he's not right, he's got funny eyes. The whole thing is absolutely bananas.
In the rankings, and for Mark Scott, he's saying that is significant. Talking about these democracies, the report refers to individual political actors or parties accused of leveraging techniques to spread their narrative, to diminish their opponents, and overall to present this misinformation called online propaganda. Let's just bring you an overview of the kind of key tools used. We've seen 3 of them there, but there's also this concept of cyber troops. Now, you're probably not familiar with that kind of terminology. It's referring to government agencies, state agencies, or private companies wanting to engage in this kind of coordinated, inauthentic behavior, as the internet giants would call it. Now, some of the techniques you're seeing there to try and drown out or discredit your opponents, that is their aim. But look at the bottom here. Facebook, still, it is the platform of choice. The majority of this information still taking place on Facebook. Now, Facebook's saying they've done a great deal to try and combat misinformation, but still here being listed. Worth saying, Twitter also mentioned as a platform where a lot of disinformation is spread. Facebook here, though, it's not going to be a good look for them there. Just bringing you some of the other thoughts from this. When we're looking at the Russian disinformation campaigns, that I suppose has got the most attention after the 2016 allegations of election meddling. But now, some of the terminology of this report, really interesting, talking about China as a new misinformation superpower. A lot of people speculating as to whether this will now close down if things in Hong Kong could quieten down, or whether we are now seeing China joining the likes of Russia in its desire to control narratives on international social media. So an awful lot to unpick from that report. The top line being, though, that they're saying online propaganda directed at you and me to influence our opinion, more than doubling in in the amount in the last 2 years.
Who has seen this before? Who has seen this before? I bet none of you have. So they do say, they do show, but I bet you nobody's seen it. Look at that comment at the bottom. Yes, look what Yikes is saying at the bottom, if you can read that. But anyway, it's doubled in the last 2 years, and it's much more than that now with what they're doing, and it's just... Anyway, tell me what you think of this video.